Welcome back, everyone, to another day in the life of a military wife. Today we are going to be going over or reviewing a little bit about one of the organizations in the military that's part of the alphabet soup of the military. There's just a lot of acronyms, and one is MWR, which is Morale, Welfare, and Recreation. And in all sincerity, before putting this all together, I could never get what those letters stood for correctly. I knew basically what it did, but I, for some reason, kept wanting to switch morale with military. But anyway, I digress. Just wanted to cover a lot of the wonderful opportunities that they provide for military service members and their families, as well as some of the differences between the different branches of the service. There are some things that certain branches get that in the MWR that just aren't at other places. So, with that said, I am your host, Sam Wolf, and this is Life of a Military Wife. So let's jump right in with a few things that pretty much are standard across the different branches of service. So most of the branches will have some basic things like libraries, bowling alleys, golfing, stuff like that. And the libraries I particularly love. We've used a lot as our family. They do really great summer reading programs. They have holiday activities, story time. Some of them have had language classes for like English for Spanish speakers or English for foreign speakers. Just a bunch of different programs and stuff. So you really have to look into each library specifically and find out what they're providing. But I'm a book person. I love to read. I love that we have access to that for my kids. So it's a good thing. Every place we've ever lived, my husband has had to go into the library and get everything set up as part of his in-processing. So I'm pretty sure that most people know that there are libraries and where they are. I just encourage you to reach out and find out particularly what programs they have. My son particularly loves that our library has a Lego club, so he gets to get together with other kids and build Legos in the summer, and he loves that. So just, research, figure out what they've got. Another thing that most of the bases and duty stations and whatnot have is bowling alleys. In fact, actually, I knew that military duty stations had bowling alleys back when I was a civilian because my extended family were in the military and they'd always talk about going bowling for dirt cheap and all of that. And again, different bowling alleys will have different deals on different days. Contact yours, find out what they have. But they do have really amazing deals, like really awesome deals. Not to mention, some of them participate in the Kids Bowl free summer program where you can sign your kids up to bowl on base or post for free, like once or twice a week. And that is incredible because I love indoor activities with AC in the summer because there are just days where it is way too hot to be outside, in my opinion. And I've got kids that just burn, and lathering sunscreen on them every hour can be tedious. And I want to be a good mom. I don't want to see them burn. So indoor activities are always a plus, especially in the middle of the day when it's super hot. Another thing that they have that I've never taken advantage of just because it's not my forte is golfing. Every place we've ever been has had golfing, and I'm not a golfer, but I know people who are golfers. So if you like golfing, that's awesome. I know that one of the duty stations we were at had even a driving range. But I don't think all of them have had that. So again, different duty stations, different variations on the theme of golfing there. The next one is one that we have not personally taken advantage of, but my husband has wanted to, and we just haven't ever gotten around to it. But we know friends who've used this service, and that is the auto shop. Basically, there are places on most installations where you can go and rent a bay to fix your vehicle, and you can also rent tools that you may not have. And my husband loves collecting tools to fix stuff. But we're a military family. There is a limit to his collection and what he can collect. So we've had to work around that. And that's one reason why being able to rent some of these larger tools is super beneficial. And another one that we have some experience with is the community centers. In our first duty station, we found out that they had it was this big intro welcome to post thing where they would have child care and feed you lunch, and you would meet the XO spouse and the XO and the head of the chaplains association, and they'd give you a tour of post and all sorts of stuff. And that was at the MWR, and I really loved that. Our second duty station, if they had that, I never found out about it. But also at an MWR, they also did a big Mother's Day activity where they had a whole bunch of different organizations from the community come in and provide free services for the moms, like pedicures, massages, makeup, doing, makeovers, just a bunch of different things. They had tons of food from different restaurants, and they had giveaways. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a lot of fun to go to with some friends. So the community centers will offer different things. It was actually through an MWR that we first encountered the one book that I really loved for my kids, which is Over There, that talks about deployments. So they have a lot of different opportunities. Last thing one of the last things, there's just so much. And I keep thinking last thing, and then I see 5 more things on my list right here. Outdoor rec. So this varies greatly depending on what and where the installation is. But outdoor rec, most all of the installations have parks. I think every single installation has a park. If there's one that doesn't, I'd be surprised. And with the parks, you can rent them out. You can rent out the pavilions. We've done it before. We've rented it out for church events and birthday parties and stuff. There's also camping rentals as part of their outdoor rec thing. For one of those parties for a church thing, we rented this huge grill so we could have this massive barbecue, and it was awesome. Or cookout, depending on where you're from. It would be called a cookout. One of the installations we were at had horseback riding. I know some Army installations have that. Some Air Force installations have it. It just depends on where you're at. I know that there is fishing in some lakes, and depending on installations. Again, they also can have just general equipment rental for different outdoor activities. So it's worthwhile to call them and find out. They also can rent out bouncy houses and cotton candy machines and popcorn machines. They've got a lot of different rentals. There's quite a variety. And I know that one of the installations we were at, once a year, they would have everything out on display, and people could come and they'd have prizes and treats and discounts and stuff, because they really wanted people to understand what was available. That's just outdoor rec includes a lot when it comes to the MWR. Another one is information, tickets, and travel, or leisure travel, basically. A lot of people who I talked to or who responded to my inquiry on what their experience with MWR was, that this was the main thing that they mentioned, that they had used a lot. And through it, you can get tickets for hotels, resorts, Disneyland. We've used it to get train tickets for a sightseeing tour. just different vacations and everything like that. I think, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you can even get cruises set up through them. And because when you set it up through them, there you can get military discounts. You can get discounts that are above and beyond what you could normally get. And that is a huge benefit because sometimes those things are super pricey and, we're not all made of money. Like, we're military. We got budgets. So the information, tickets, and travel is a really beneficial resource that you can find across the military branches, regardless of usually where you're serving. The offices are located in different places. A little research online, you can usually find out pretty quickly where yours is, and contact them. I would say call them first before showing up, because I made the mistake of showing up in person thinking that I had to because a website that I read said I had to. And I later found out that I could have easily just called and made all the arrangements over the phone, which would have been a lot more convenient. So just, friendly tidbit from someone who's been there, done that sort of thing. There are some exceptions, some things that from what I researched are different from one branch of service to the other. And I don't have a lot of experience with these things that are different. My majority of my experience is with the things that they have that are in common. Also, small apology, my dog's sleeping and making noises in the background. But anyway, so to the things that they have that are different. Looking at it, the Air Force and Navy have their own different versions or variations on an Aero Club or the Navy Flying Club, basically aviation clubs. And the descriptions on the websites were super vague. Again, not really something I've ever had time for or researched before or really know anyone who's participated in. But that is kind of cool. So I would recommend, if you're interested in being part of an aviation club or learning more about that, getting on the websites and finding out if they have it where you're stationed and what it takes to be involved. Because it could be really awesome. I don't know. I personally am kind of terrified of the thought of flying, and I'm not a very good mechanic, so it's just not my cup of tea. But, it might be yours, and that might be something you want to pursue. So it's an option. The other thing that the Navy does that I just didn't see anywhere else in any of the other branches was the marinas. And that makes sense because, it's the Navy. So maybe the Marines does this too, but I didn't really see it. But so the marinas, they provide skills and development and instruction on, nautical. Yeah. Again, I'm not an expert with this stuff. I've been boating and whatnot, but I've never owned a boat, never really spent a lot of time on a boat or a ship. Never actually been on a ship at all. Yeah, see, dearth of experience. I really need to get out and do more, evidently. But they also provide berthing and mooring and equipment rentals. And they offer other activities such as fishing and sailing. So I know that, again, this is probably slightly different, but when my husband was stationed in Egypt, they had like jet ski rentals and things like that. It was a slightly different deal in Egypt where he was at because it was multinational, and I'm pretty sure it was the Brits in charge of providing that sort of stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if you could find that sort of stuff in some of these marina rentals. But it specifically mentioned fishing and sailing, but then it said and more. So look it up. Be surprised. There's more stuff. They just didn't tell us what it was on the website. The next difference I wanted to cover was the Army BOSS program. And again, it's quite possible that the other branches of service have a BOSS program, but I just didn't see it in any of my research, and nobody mentioned it at all. And I really feel like the BOSS program is highly underutilized in the military. Again, we've got family and friends in every branch of service, but I have heard quite a bit about the BOSS program, and it's better opportunities for single soldiers, is what that little alphabet soup thing stands for. But the BOSS program does a wide variety of things. It's not just recreation, it also has volunteer opportunities and just different opportunities in general. The whole goal of the BOSS program is to help get the single soldiers out of their barracks and socializing and making friends and getting involved and seeing, being a part of the community and participating in the things that they have where they're stationed. We have family that are single military personnel, and ones that are married. And I know that with the single military personnel that I've known, it can be kind of lonely. You can get kind of stuck in a rut in your dorm room just watching Netflix and playing computer games. And it's always wonderful when you can kind of, well, get out of your little cocoon and out of your little, man cave or whatnot, and make some friends, see what's out there. I've heard of BOSS programs doing volunteer opportunities with Habitat for Humanity, doing volunteer opportunities for events on the Army bases or posts. Army posts. I've heard of them doing like whitewater rafting or rock climbing or different excursions into different like recreational places in the surrounding community. Getting tickets to events that are free, like 99%. I really don't think you have to pay for a penny of this stuff. I think it's pretty much all free from what I've seen and heard about. So that's incredible. If you're in the Army and you are a single soldier, this is definitely a resource you should be utilizing because it's pretty darn incredible what they offer. And the fact that it's free, and as far as I've been told, it's highly underutilized. Not enough people understand what is available through the BOSS program, and even less people take advantage of it. So if you want to do a whole bunch of fun stuff for free, the BOSS program through the MWR really is your ticket. It is a great opportunity to make friends and meet people and just experience a whole bunch of really awesome stuff and save some money, because again, we're not made of money. The military we do this for other reasons than monetary ones. We have budgets, or at least hopefully you have budgets. I did notice on the Army page also that they have financial services that they listed, and they also do partnerships with the YMCA. And I did not see that on any of the other websites. So I'm not sure if the Army or the Navy do YMCA partnerships. I do know that not all Army installations do YMCA partnerships. There are some YMCAs that are located on Army bases, though. I have heard of that happening. In fact, I even know of one that I have heard of that they have this like free store that the YMCA operates, where people can drop off things they don't need and pick up stuff they do need. So I would look into that whenever you get to a military installation and see if there is a YMCA and what it does offer. Again, I know that some of them will do meals or different classes or summer camps or programs. However, the YMCAs that are on military installations do tend to be smaller than the ones you will find out in the community. And most of the YMCAs in the community will have military discounts. It's just the ones I have found on military installations tend to be free or mostly free because they're a complete volunteer gift from the community. And I think that's pretty incredible. they're not that common, but they are there. But like I said, also the Army MWR does offer what they call financial resources and other stuff. And there was one more thing that I just realized I didn't cover in the things that they all have, and that is sports programs. It's like intramural competition sports. I think they've had like now I forget what it's actually called. Dang, brain failure. Like the Frisbee football thing. They've also had baseball and softball. I think they even had kickball in one place we were. But anyway, they'll have different like sports where you can put together your own team and compete against other people on the base that have their own teams. And all of the different military branches had that. So, again, it's not something I've taken advantage of because I just don't have time for some of that. MWR does so much. I don't really know if anyone could be involved in all of their programs. It just doesn't seem humanly possible. So again, I have some experience with some things and with others. But I'm really grateful for the people that gave me feedback for this episode on what they particularly loved about the MWR. And really, most of the feedback I got came from those travel tickets and discounts. Some people really liked the bowling. And yeah, that was pretty much where most people really loved it, was like libraries, bowling, and then like discounted tickets. So to each his own. Everyone's got their own cup of tea. And that's the great part about MWR is whatever you're looking for, there's pretty much something for everyone. And I hope that you take the opportunity to look into what is available on your duty station and get involved and maybe make some friends and try some new things. Obviously, from everything I was reading, there's some things I should try because I have no experience with them and they sound interesting. So maybe I will pick up some new hobby and tell you all about it later. But anyway, that's it for now. I am so grateful for everyone who gives me feedback and input on these. I really couldn't do it by myself, and I really hope it's helpful. The whole point of me doing these podcasts is to get information out to people who otherwise may not be aware of what resources and benefits and things are available to them as military families and military personnel. So that all said, wrapping it up, I am your host, Sam Wolf, and this is Life of a Military Wife.